Hey guys, what is going on? So I just wanted to talk about my 1-year experience with Turkesterone. I have been using Gorilla Mind's Turkesterone on and off since November 27th of 2020. So it's been just over a year. I have been making some really good progress recently and, hitting some PRs, gaining weight, everything like that. So I have a video that shows my first 7-8 months on Turkesterone, my experience with that. So if you're interested, you can go ahead and watch that. It's not as linear as what I'm about to show you just because I, bulked on it for a period. I was injured a couple times and then I actually started cutting on Turkesterone. So that entire experience for the first 7 to 8 months is documented. I have individual videos, but that's kind of a summary if you're interested in that. This video is about everything since then. So, I just want to say a couple things before I get started. One is that I am now sponsored by Gorilla Mind. I have been for a while, but when I made that first video, I was not. And obviously every video prior to that, I was not. So I was not making money in any way, shape, or form. So, if you think that I'm biased on my current review, at least my last review, hopefully you don't think I was biased on that one, but just want to be transparent about that. As well as I think I'm a better responder than most with Turkesterone. Some people appear to, maybe have a better response than me, but they aren't as advanced or they just haven't been training for as long. So I'm not saying I'm advanced in terms of like, I have these crazy numbers. It's more so just that I've been training for a long time and I was, pretty plateaued prior to taking Turkesterone, which is one reason why it was intriguing to me. So again, I outlined my entire experience prior to starting this bulk, which I've been on since July. So if you're interested in that, the other video explains that. But since then, I have been bulking since July 11th, and today is actually December 11th. So, it's been that long. It's actually my half birthday today. But anyway, I ran out of Turkesterone when I made that initial video. So I actually was using Ecdysterone, and I was using Ecdysterone from another brand that I'm not currently using. And I decided to start bulking, start increasing my calories. So I effectively bulked from about 220 pounds. At the time, my bench PR was 375. And, I was just gaining weight, doing some bodybuilding work, wasn't really focusing on bench press or anything like that. And, at the time, my highest lean body mass that I'd ever achieved up to that point was in my bulk, which was 196. And then it dropped down about 1 pound over the course of my cut, and that was kind of my peak shape when I was about 220. So 196 was an all-time PR. Prior to hitting Turkesterone, it was about 191. So I had achieved some results from that period, decided to continue to bulk after that cut that I did, and I slowly put on size, not at the rate that I was kind of expecting, unfortunately, but I was able to put on some size for the first couple months. So that was in the middle of July. I kind of regained some of that, size or strength that I had lost towards the end of my cut. And around mid-September is when I got access to this, which is Intelligent Elephant Ecdysterone. So this is just complex in the same way that Turkesterone is. And considering this is 98% Ecdysterone, whereas this is only 10% Turkesterone, it's just the way that it is. I figured that I could, try this. So at the time I was taking 3 capsules of huge Ecdysterone. When I switched to this, I just switched to 3 capsules of this. I noticed a pretty sudden weight increase. I started noticing my lifts going up, everything like that. But I wasn't really training for strength, so I didn't really have an accurate way to gauge that. I was gaining some lean mass over the, months that I was bulking, but it wasn't really anything that I could translate into strength just because that wasn't really what I was working towards. So started using Intelligent Elephant Ecdysterone exclusively at that point. Did that for about a month, and it became apparent that this was significantly more potent than what I was previously taking. So I just continued to take that. I then decided that I wanted to try and hit a PR because I was, building some of the size, I was bulking. And so I decided to start adding in and going 3 and 3. So I did 3 capsules of Ecdysterone, 3 capsules of Turkesterone. And that seemed to give me an immediate boost. So it was significantly better than just, having the 3 Ecdysterone. It made my lifts go up, which Turkesterone seems to have a better effect, on strength numbers. So I ran that stack for a while, obviously continued to gain weight, continued to bulk. And it became apparent that I really wanted to hit a bench PR before the end of the year. So I then transitioned into just doing 6 capsules of Turkesterone, no more Ecdysterone, and I was just doing what I was previously doing, which was 6 caps of Turkesterone on my last bulk on Turkesterone. So without getting into too much detail, I started hitting PRs left and right. At the time, my bench PR was 375. That is something that I wasn't really able to surpass at any point in that bulk, just because I wasn't really focusing on bench press. But started to take Turkesterone, shortly after. I think I hit a 385 bench, started to hit a lot of volume PRs. So my previous PR on bench press prior to this bulk was 315 for 7 was my volume PR. I have recently hit that 411, so that's a 4 rep increase in that. And I actually hit a lifetime milestone pretty recently, which is a 405 bench press. So added about 30 pounds to my bench over the course of this bulk. And, obviously added some, body weight, lean mass, all that good stuff. I hit a 255 overhead press, which is only a 10-pound PR, but I was pretty close to a 265. Didn't end up hitting that, and I don't really have any intention to hit that anytime soon. So since I've hit, kind of that milestone bench press PR, I decided to transition back into bodybuilding, which is just going to allow me to accumulate a little bit more muscle before I get back into trying to do any strength training. So that's been my experience. Now, obviously, people are going to be like, well, yeah, you gained weight over the course of the bulk. Of course, your numbers are going to go up. I personally have not found that just simply adding weight does much for my numbers. That's why I was able to hit a 375 bench at a relatively light weight. But, I would just like to pull up this comparison of the last time that I was this heavy. So currently I am, at least according to this December 1st scan that I did, 240.7 pounds. Last time I was this heavy, or around this heavy, obviously these are a bit different, was May 25th, 2019. I was 241 pounds, so roughly 241 in both. It appears that I have gained about 10 pounds of lean mass at the same body weight, which puts me at a, above 20% body fat range to a 16% body fat. My fat mass has obviously gone down because it was replaced with lean mass. I've obviously added at least, I want to say, at least 50 pounds to my bench, but maybe even like 70 pounds to my bench since I've done this. My overhead press has gone up. Everything, has gone up. Added about 10 pounds of lean mass. So this May 25th, 2019, this is the highest lean body mass that I'd ever achieved prior to starting Turkesterone. So I was actually just slightly below 190 when I decided to try Turkesterone again for the first time. Or not again, just try it for the first time around this time last year. So added, 5-6 pounds of lean mass during my initial Turkesterone bulk. Was able to kind of retain most, if not all of that over the course of my cut. Again, I outline all of this in my more kind of comprehensive review of my first 7 to 8 months. And then I go back on a bulk and I hit, a 30-pound PR on my bench. I've added in the last year a total of 50 pounds to my bench press. Obviously, I've added some fat since then, but my body fat percentage is only 16% according to this. Now, I don't know how accurate this is, but it's very obvious that me at the current 240, 241 is significantly leaner than where I was at, a year and a half ago, or however long that was. It's actually 2.5 years ago. 2.5 years ago was the heaviest I'd ever been, the highest lean body mass that I ever been. And from that point, I kind of plateaued, which made Turkesterone an appealing thing to get on. And once I decided to do that, I started to see more gains. So 405 bench was something that I was starting to believe I was never going to achieve, but ended up doing that. So now I'm kind of shifting gears, getting back into bodybuilding. And since then, I've added a little bit of weight, even since this December 1st scan, which was only 10 days ago. So very happy with the progress that I've had on Turkesterone and Ecdysterone. Like I said, kind of, sometimes taking this, sometimes taking this. I've taken both. But that is kind of my summarized experience since I have released kind of that last review that I had. And hopefully that kind of paints a picture on, does this last more than, 2 months? Some people think it only works for 2 months and then it stops. So I think it's very apparent that a lot of my results have been aided at the very least since adding this stuff. And it does not appear to be slowing down at all. So it just seems like training is fun again. I'm much more willing to be in a calorie surplus now, considering the fact that I actually am gaining muscle and strength and everything like that. So I'm going to keep going with it and see where I can take it. So yeah, that's my 1 year experience. Again, you know, I am sponsored by Gorilla Mind, so take that with a grain of salt. I do have a code if you want to buy either of these, Turkesterone or Ecdysterone. If I were to recommend one to somebody who's never tried either, I would probably opt for the Ecdysterone just because it is a bit more cost effective. I find that Turkesterone works better for strength. It seems to be disproportionately geared towards that. Ecdysterone, in my experience, has been a bit more endurance based, and it is probably, you know, better for a bulk if you're kind of on a budget. Turkesterone is, you know, if you want to hit a bench PR or something like that, it's probably a bit more effective. But ultimately, you can get away with taking less capsules of Ecdysterone. At least that's what I've noticed. Obviously, some people respond to one over the other. Like, for example, I would say overall I respond better to Turkesterone, but I respond to both. Some people only respond to Ecdy, some people only respond to Turk, some people respond to neither. So just takes experimentation. But like I said, this is more cost effective. These are the same price, but you can get away with taking less of this. So that's why I would opt if you haven't had any experience with the two. But obviously, some people have already tried one over the other and have found their preference. But again, I do have a discount code. It is code Cooper on either of these sites. They are linked down below if you're interested. But anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I'll keep you updated, and I'll talk to you soon.